Thank you for tuning in to Uncommon Women, a podcast that provides a platform for women of all walks of life to share their upbringings, life lessons learned, experiences, and journeys to come. Uncommon Women speaks on topics that can relate to all women. We share, we listen, we laugh, we cry, and we empower each other to be the best uncommon woman that they can be. Ultimately, we are cultivating a global movement of women supporting women. Women supporting entrepreneurship, relationships, self-love, and so much more. We inspire each other to make an impact on this world for the better. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Uncommon Women. Now, finally, grab a seat, get comfortable, and hear from your wonderful hosts, Shanira and Jenny Lee.
Good evening, kings and queens. This is Uncommon Women here, and I'm Jenny Lee. Today we have an amazing guest speaker. Her name is Pamela Gockley. She will be speaking on bullying prevention and awareness information. I am going to read her bio. Pamela S. Gockley is a certified coherent behavioral therapist and CBT bullying prevention by the CDC for the United States Department of Health, as well as an executive director of the Camel Project. Her mission is to help eliminate bullying by making people understand the impact what bullying can do in behavior and words on others. She will be speaking on bullying prevention. Thank you, Pamela, for coming on this evening.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so happy to be on your podcast.
I'm glad that, this is a good time to speak about the bullying that's going on, especially now that school is about to start. So I'm looking forward for you to speak on your goodies and what you got to say. Can you let me know a little bit of your childhood?
Sure. I grew up in a farm area in Lancaster County, and it was kind of idyllic. The town, everybody knew who you are, and unfortunately, my parents became divorced when I was about 5 or 6 years old. We then had a different phases of life that took me through places like a 6 or 10-year-old is not mentally mature enough to deal with. So we had a school closing. We then moved away from our little town, and I moved into isolation where I was completely alone, and I was depressed. I started eating for because I was sad, and I gained 300 pounds. And what I recall is going into a junior high in Lancaster County is that I really thought I was invisible. I didn't think I existed because I, first of all, couldn't believe that the contact even at school, there was literally nothing at home. Mom was raising 3 kids on her own. There was no safety net back then, so it was work. So and then it turns out, flash forward 30 years later, I was an undiagnosed dyslexic. So I had a bunch of different things of the perfect storm thrown at me as a kid, without the support systems and without a general understanding of what our kids are going through. And I'm not sure, I don't blame people. I'm not a victim person. People say, oh, you're a victim of bullying. No, I'm not a victim. I don't blame, but right now I'm in a position, very fortunately, that I can fix this and that I can help just get a general awareness of what bullying does to communities. And our mission through the Camel Project is to end violence.
That is great. And I think, like when you said, when you're like going into the middle school, I think that's a time where we go through puberty and things are just like weird. weird. And then not having a support system kind of causes a little bit of trauma in that, because you don't have the support, you don't have no one guiding you, and then you're going through puberty, and then like all these things are happening at the same time in school. So I can kind of relate to that. So let's talk about what are the signs that we should be aware of when it comes to bullying.
So we break it up into different segments. So you have the bully, you have the target, and you have the witness. So those are the three different groups that we deal with. And our ultimate goal is to make all three of those types of personalities and behaviors a guardian. So as we get through our programs with the adults and the children, our ultimate goal is to make people guardians, which is a totally different mindset. So bullying is an aggressive learned behavior, and we stick to that. So if it's a learned behavior, it can be unlearned. And we don't think people are broken. We're not here to really fix people. We're here to replace the unwanted behaviors with behaviors we want. So I hear this all the time. So why aren't our kids kind? Why don't they have empathy? That's my favorite. Why don't they have empathy? They need compassion. Well, can you show them what it is? So I'm an experiential learner. You can't read it to me in a book. I am a dyslexic. I use my other senses. So I watch what people do. I watch how their personal cues. So if I'm not seeing empathy, I can't emulate it. I emulate what I see. So I challenge people to really take personal accountability to every time you say, look at that kid. Where's her parents? No, where are you? Where are you in this? What are you showing these youth today?
Yeah, so, and I definitely agree with that, because like I was explaining to you earlier, I worked in the Reading School District. I came in to help. I worked as a classroom para, and as I was working, working with kids, I used to sit back and like really, really observe. I worked with third graders. I had worked with middle schoolers, and middle schoolers, like I said, they go through a lot. I apologize for that. And then you have to be the one to be the adult to show them, like you were explaining. And I tried to talk to them, because a lot of kids, I guess they don't know how to express if they have empathy or not, or even if they're compassionate. It's hard. And I have spoken to kids where they'd be like, well, I just don't care,
And they don't care because that's the environment they're in. I mean, and then you come along and you're one person for 50 minutes, and then you're gone. So they're never going to trust you per se. And it's not personal. Our philosophy is it starts with you, but it's not about you.
True.
So we want our adults to have relationships with these youth to be aware of their own personal cues. What are they saying to a kid that's under trauma? And unless you've lived through the trauma of thinking you're invisible, you're not going to learn that in any PhD program of what that feels like. And some of the triggers that are caused by trauma. I was in 9th grade. I was put in special education. I was undiagnosed dyslexic, and dyslexics were pretty smart. So, special ed, SPEDS, that was not the place for me to grow. So, and then it was institutional bullying. And then of course the kids, you're a bully, your prime target are the weak ones, right? The perceived weak ones. and that is the speds. So I was then bullied tremendously in school, and I didn't know why. And in ninth grade, I committed a felony, and I was asked to leave school. I was told I was fat and lazy. I didn't never amount to anything. So I went back. I got my GED. I have 2 college degrees. I'm writing my 5th book, and I own a technology company for 25 years. But that's just me. These kids that can't deal with this kind of pressure are committing suicide, and we consider suicide as violence. So it's the second leading cause of death of our students between 10 and 24. So this is my real motivator. This is absolutely, we hear about these kids who commit suicide. Oh, that's terrible. Thoughts and prayers. And, that's fine, but we need some accountability. I take personal accountability when one of our kids, I have cats too, by the way. I don't have children, but they are all my kids. And I take personal responsibility for making sure, by contacting adults, to make sure we are projecting healthy attitudes and healthy behaviors, or they don't have a chance.
Yeah, it is true. Because I think that also starts at home. I think that's very important, where the parents have to teach these kids, right from wrong, or talk to them, be their support, be their guidance, because they see certain behavior. They can see their father hitting their mother, and then they're coming to school, and like you said, is learned behavior. They're coming to school and picking on other kids. It's because they're seeing what's going on, and it's causing for them to hold all these emotions in. So, okay, well, I'm going to beat on the kid too. If my dad is beating on my mom, I'm going to beat on this kid. So
yeah, it is learned in the environment that they live in, and it's reinforced in every place else. So we had a lot of violence growing up. My parents were both alcoholics, so been there, done that. But that becomes the norm. And if you didn't experience that, you must know kids are. And the denying it is just ridiculous to me, that people say, well, it didn't happen to me. Well, that doesn't mean that it's not. You need to widen your view just a tad, because there's a whole world out there that you may not know about. You don't know what you don't know, is my philosophy.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you hear the kids or see the kids, and you start seeing these signs, the kids are tired. The target usually has really no confidence. They have no self-awareness, and they have no support system. But we found that about the bully too. The bully's not confident. They're afraid, just like the target. So when we deal with the children's programs, it's all about social emotional learning. It's all about confidence building, self-awareness, pushing them in a very safe, non-judgmental environment. And I do that for the adults, by the way, because usually adults are harder, because we know. No, you don't. I would really like to talk to my principal from the middle school, from where I went to school, and really talk to him and see if he had any enlightenment. I'm not mad. I don't hold grudges. I don't have energy or time to do that. But these kids, these negative thoughts, these negative behaviors are sticking like glue.
Yeah, they are.
And until that target or that witness knows what to do, knows why they're being picked on. I wrote a book about my experience growing up, which is available on Amazon. It's called Not All Camels Are in the Desert, because I want them to know it's not only happening to them. They're not alone. It's happening to a lot of other people. It's the great mystery of our communities. We never talk about this.
No, they don't.
We know the bullies.
Yeah.
The adults all know the bullies, and we do nothing to try and educate that person on the impact. And the last part of the book is I want them to know it's not their fault. When it becomes their fault, when they get too much pressure, when there's too much stress put on these kids, and they start getting these physical high blood pressure, obesity, and they start getting depression and anxiety. If I meet one more 13-year-old that tells me they have anxiety disorder, I'm going to scream. I'm going to scream. This is a sign that says our communities are not balanced. And that's really what we want to do, help communities to smack them around a little bit so they know it's happening. And then, provide the strategies and the prevention programs for the whole community. We're a holistic nonprofit. We don't just target schools. It's the home, it's the religious organizations, it's the children's youth organizations, it's the police department. Everybody needs to be on the same page. So unlike you're the only one doing this in school, in the Reading School District, you're not going to stick around long, guaranteed it.
I mean, I got to be quite honest. When I've seen a lot of that was going on myself, and it's mentally draining. I mean, these kids, I continue to go in every day because I'm like, you know what, these kids need someone, and they need someone that's gonna love on them, someone that's gonna teach them right from from wrong. I mean, I'm not their parent, but I used to talk to them, let them know what my experience was growing up. I grew up in the city of Reading, and I know every ins and outs. I grew up, in the rough areas of the city, and, me, myself, growing up from elementary school to middle school and high school, I've gotten bullied, and it's not a great feeling because sometimes, these same bullies pretend to be your friend and they're really not your friend. And but then you get to a point where you're seeking that attention because this person is paying attention to you, but even though they're treating you like crap, and one minute they're nice to you and want to be your friend, but sometimes they can talk you into doing certain things by manipulating you. Because I know it's happened to me, and I've done a lot of things as a kid that I know I shouldn't have. And then even me with myself trying to show off because they were the bully, I ended up becoming somewhat like a bully because I'm like, they're picking on somebody. And in my head, I'm like, I know I shouldn't do it, but just to be a part of the in crowd, I start doing it. So as I sit back now and I think about it and I seen how these kids are now in this generation, it's terrible. It's terrible. And then to make somebody feel like they're so lower than you, it's not right at all.
Yeah, because they have no self-awareness and confidence either. But you just described the direct line to gangs. If you want to stop the gangs, and being in gangs is a side effect.
Yeah.
This is why I became a cognitive behavioral therapist. It's about behaviors. It's about unbalanced emotions. Want to get technical about it. It's about understanding your emotions. But when you're 14, 15, you don't know anything about emotions, and and the parents don't want to deal with it, and the teachers aren't really paid to deal with it. So who's dealing with it? No one.
No one really.
So we get the side effects of gangs. We get abuse. We get alcohol abuse, drug abuse, and then they become adults, and they're already ingrained in that lifestyle, and it becomes that habit. So until we teach and take the time for our children to understand, and this needs to be communicated by the adults too, to reinforce it. So one organization can't do it. It's got to be a holistic community approach, a whole school. So when we go into schools, we take the lunch ladies, the custodians who really run the building,
Yeah.
the administrators, as well as the teachers. So, and the school resource officers, we all need to be on the same page, and our kids are used to us not doing that.
Yeah.
We're smart on getting around stuff because we
Mhm.
train them to do it because we're so easy. We're so easy to be played. We really
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. They really, and it's crazy how, even as an adult, how a kid can like completely like kind of manipulate you in a way. I've seen it happen. And it's like they're getting smarter, like as the generation just keeps going.
Well, and here's the problem with the internet. We have access
Mhm.
to information. We
Yeah.
have an information overload and no maturity or wisdom to deal with that information. And I see this in
Mhm.
adults. All you got to do is really look around Facebook a little tiny bit, and you'll see
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about. And these are the adults. And these are the adults who are saying, well, what's wrong with these kids? Well,
Mhm.
okay, first of all, you bash the city of Reading, and I
Yep.
guarantee you they haven't been in the city of Reading because I asked them. So when's the last time you were over the bridge, West Reading Bridge? Wow, we don't go. And then I said, then you need to be quiet. You need to
Mhm.
zip it. I live in the city. I'm proud of the city. We have city problems, but I
Yep.
really think we're on an upward trend. And folks like you doing a podcast about bringing awareness to our community, we can't change it, or we can't make changes in our personal culture if we don't know about it, and if we don't know there's a need and we don't know how to do it. So we're really here to provide that strategy, that support. Our programs come with one-on-one support sessions through the Camel Project and my cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm not your mother. I'm not your employer. I'm the weird aunt who's going to tell you how it is, and you either listen to it or you don't. I can't make people do anything. I
Yeah.
can tell them straight up how it is because I'll never go to Christmas dinner. Not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, adults in our community really need to step up and understand the impact of their behaviors and how close people are to just not making it. And that next suicide, I am kind of off the hook.
Yeah.
I'm really off the hook about building awareness. I don't think we can afford to lose one more youth. And I also think we are missing so much potential of
Yes.
kids because it's usually the weak, the kind of the smart kids who are
Yeah.
just shy. And
Yeah.
and that's a behavior too. Shyness is a behavior that we can
Yeah.
help bring out that confidence in them.
Yeah.
So I just think there's so much to gain and very little except an ego that is out of sorts to lose
Yeah.
by taking this journey, this personal awareness journey of our adults. Again, instead of blaming people, you need to point them back at you and take personal
Mhm.
responsibility. Like I said, I have no children, and these are all my kids. I'll tell them, and I call them my kids, and they're like looking at me. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm old and grouchy. What are you going to do about it? You are my kids. They're probably 30. I'm going, come here, kid. Well, that's disrespectful. I'm like, get over it. I don't care. Come here.
I love the mindset you have and where you call these kids your kids because, you know, kids that don't have mothers or fathers or single parents and they, you know, sometimes, they might have their mother and father, but parents are not always there. And then when they have that one person that says, you're like my kid, that makes them feel important. That makes them show like, wow, I got somebody that really cares about me. And I love how you put that like that because not a lot of people are willing to change and do this, but they don't really sit there and say, well, I see you like my kid or you're like my kid, and sometimes, words are very important and depends on how you speak them, bad or good, they can really change a perspective on a child. because like I've done volunteer work for the city of Reading as well. I did it for Fortress, through City Lights. We get a lot of kids there. It's been a while with COVID. I haven't been able to get back out there with volunteering, obviously. And as a community, like you said, we have to come together because no one likes talking about it. I've even noticed in the school, nobody wants to talk about it. I've seen parents, on Facebook posting like, hey, my child was getting bullied. I went into the school, I said something, nothing that was done. They take it higher. Nothing still isn't getting done because, like you said, nothing is balanced. Everyone wants to do something, but really is not doing anything about it because it's not being spoken about at all. They just want to hide it because they don't want the how can I put it in other words? They don't want they don't want a big scene about everything. So, but that's not the way it is. We have to bring this awareness. We have to make these kids understand that bullying is not right at all.
Oh, they do. And they're waiting for us to fix it. And we're just not. So again, we're letting our kids down. We are advocates, and I want everybody to become an advocate, to know how to do it, to know what to do, to become that guardian. I mean, if somebody wants us to go in with them with all the full force of the Camel Project, I absolutely would go in. I would go in hand with the parents, but the parents have to be also dedicated. This is not a problem that started today. This is a generational problem. There are generation after generation of dysfunctional people who are having children in dysfunctional families. And I'm not talking about money or income or race. I'm talking about emotional and behavioral dysfunction. They don't know how to act because this is the environment they always lived in. And until they're shown something else, another way to do it and stop the pain, and that's really where this centers. There is so much pain. And if we can give them a way to alleviate the pain, but and put in goodness and happiness. So remove the painful behavior.
Okay.
With a good behavior that makes them feel good. It makes them feel special. When I say, hey, kid, come here, and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We were told by a 12-year-old, bullying is happening long enough. It's about time we stop this. And I'm like, out of the mouths of babes. But between the generations of this layers of behavior and emotional trauma that continues to generate trauma, we want to be that interruption. Someone needs to interrupt it. And we can't do it alone. We need an army we have a certification program that's available to parents and educators. We're working with police departments now. Police departments are at their wits' end of what to do because they're like the schools. Whatever happens, it's either the school's fault or the police department's fault. And until we stop placing fault and blame, this is never going to go away. It's your fault. It's all of our fault.
It is.
Personal accountability. And I'll grant you may not know what to do, but we're around now. So now that excuse is getting kind of flimsy too, because I said I will bulldoze right up to your door, and either in my armor boots or my ballet slippers, either one you pick, and we will come in and we will help the community, one organization at a time, get on the same page, and that will grow and ripple, and our kids will respond. They're waiting for us.
Yeah, I truly believe that. My next question is bullying in the work environment. How can that impact, obviously, us adults?
Okay, so I am so glad you asked this question. I was waiting for this one. So according to the CDC, 75% of students by ninth grade have either witnessed or been the target of bullying.
Okay.
In a recent workforce study, and look it up, there's lots of studies by legitimate people, by the Workforce Bullying Institute. 70% of people in the workplace experience bullying. So
Wow.
it doesn't go away after school. This is not a school problem. This is an environment problem. This is a cultural problem, which requires a shift, and that's through education. So if 75% of or 70% of people in the workforce are being bullied, it doesn't go away. I have clients prior to COVID of the assisted living facilities. Grandma is bullying grandma. This is a behavior, and unless there's an interruption, it is not going to go away. Majority of people in the workforce are being bullied from the top management down. And then second is peer-to-peer. So the other myth is that kids are bullying each other on the playground. No, not really.
Yeah.
No, it's coming from teachers. Are they meaning to do it? Probably not. Do they need to knock it off? Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. And some of it's institutional. And, the fact that this is still happening at my age and I'm still seeing this, it's incredible. Nobody's doing anything to stop it.
I think it's just also the maturity as a person when you're an adult, sitting there bullying somebody. And sometimes even if when you're a person that is higher up from someone, to sit there and talk to them a certain way, you would think that as an adult, you would know better because you are an adult. And actually, we don't. So it's just mind-boggling how, because I work at Tower Health, and I've seen a lot of things and I just be like, is that really happening? Like for me, I just think it's disgusting when someone can sit there and just talk down to someone like that. Even in the environment, we're there to work together and be a team.
Again, they don't have self-awareness. They have no confidence. I don't care if you're the head doctor or the head surgeon or you're the janitor. It doesn't matter. It's not class. It's not heritage. It's not race. It is behaviors and depending on the environment. And if nobody went up to that doctor and said, look, knock it off, they're not going to stop. Usually it's, there's another CDC, there's a lot of studies out there. It's like 85% of the time when a bully is confronted, it stops immediately. It's not that hard to stop. But if he knows, or that females are the worst to deal with.
Yeah.
They're just mean. Females are just ruthless, where boys will just go, hey, yeah, I'll smack you, smack me, and then they go on. Girls are not raised that way. They are literally not raised that way. And some of it goes back to, my opinion, is, all the superhero stuff. Setting these kids up to think that they need a superhero to save them from the evil beings is just, to me, ridiculous that we set our children up that way. You don't need there's no superheroes. Stop it. You need to take care of it yourself, and this is how you do it. But the TV and the movies just do to sell stuff to our kids, and as adults, we need to really be aware and watch. And the only thing we see are superheroes. Oh, it makes me crazy. I'm like, it literally makes me crazy. I don't need any of it.
Yeah, it, like you said in the beginning, it makes them think that they're invincible.
Yeah. And they need to be rescued because they can't take care of themselves, and it's bigger than them. And that's why we have dysfunctional emotions and unhealthy behaviors. It's really quite easy to draw a direct line from what's going on and what. Now, it's a little harder for folks to understand what they need to do. because what they do when they go through our programs, they figure out they're bullies.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically your program just helps them acknowledge that, and they don't even really know. Wow.
Bullies generally don't know they're bullying because that's just the way they always done it, and
Yeah.
that's how they are. But
Wow.
they're not their authentic self. You're not born
Yeah.
a bully. You became a
No.
bully. And it's amazingly stressful to be a bully. And people want to, again, they're the evil ones. They're the bad ones we have to be. No. I enjoy working with the bullies. They're actually a lot easier to work with because they can see things clearly and they know things aren't right and they know they have pain, but they don't acknowledge it. They just beat up other people, and that's how they know to take care of it.
Mm.
And then the target is used to being a target, and they have no confidence to think they can stand up. And the witness is totally confused because they get it both sides. They don't know what to do. There's no support, and they have actually no knowledge or maturity to deal with a very adult situation. And it's very unfair that we put these kids in these adult situations, and yet we don't react and do anything to fix it. I am a bulldozer. I apologize, but
It's okay.
that's what I see.
It's okay. This is what needs to be said and heard, and it's important. I want to piggyback on the target. My question is, all right, the bully has a target, and then the target is getting bullied. And I did explain, like, for instance, like, at times the target can also become the bully. Can the witness as well become a bully?
Absolutely. So here's my in a wrap up of my life story. So in my early life, up to 10 or 12, I was the witness of bullying. My parents physically fought, usually every Friday night. Friday night fight at the Gockley house. So I witnessed the bullying. I saw it.
Okay.
And couldn't do anything about it, and didn't know what to do about it. So it just was. That's the way it was. So people go, well, my parents, they didn't do that. Well, that doesn't, okay, good. But that doesn't mean it doesn't happen to so you're getting a fuller understanding of the people in your community. You can't be so siloed and tunnel visioned here. This is not the community we live in anymore. But then I became the target of bullying in school. I write in my book, I was, the weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. They sing that to me, which was not, was not funny. And then they knocked me down. We were, well, she didn't get up. They said knock her down. She didn't get up.
Yeah, I kind of.
And then because of all the stress, the anger, it all turns to anger, and I committed a felony. So I became the bully. Wow. And now, ironically, I am the guardian. So I can't. You generally go through all those things, and unfortunately, when they become the bully, they may be committing suicide, and they just became the bully to themselves. So somehow they go through all those different types of behaviors and emotions. It all ends up in anger, and it either is a mass shooting or suicide.
Wow. Okay, my other question is, what can we do to be more aware of cyberbullying?
Turn off the devices. You own them. I mean, I talked to a group at they were adoptive parents. I said, you pay for this. You buy the internet. Take it away. You have a responsibility. So we did actually a course on some of the more harmful apps. We had the little logos up. So if you see this pop up on your kids, you got to take it. But the most thing is you need to lock down. This is where it being in technology has gotten rolled out in such a harmful way because adults don't want to deal with it. They don't want to know. And yet they give their kids devices and say, here, go. and then they want to, complain when the girls are meeting up with older guys. It's like,
Yeah.
how did they get on the internet? You can turn it off. I know parents who, as soon as the kids get in the door, they have a basket and the cell phone's down. They have that cell phone only to call for help if something happens, and there's no internet in the house at night. Unfortunately, a lot of adults can't live that way. So
yeah, you see too often. You see people always in their phones, and you see it. Yeah, it's technology has become such. I think it's good, but it's really bad at the same time because, like you said, we can shut it off. Like I can shut off my phone at any moment, and then you go into Facebook or you go into something and then you see it. I see the cyberbullying sometimes myself, and I'm just like, and I'm usually the one. I try not to comment on things because I already know it's gonna start something, and then I'll have a whole bunch of comments, because it's happened to me where everyone has an opinion, everyone has, I have an opinion just like you, and I kind of experienced it. And obviously I had a couple trolls, bullies, and I'm like, well, you can say what you say, but this is my opinion. And then they just keep going and keep going. And sometimes you have to so before they keep going and I keep going, you just got to shut it off.
Well, and another way to really cut out the cyberbullying is first, turn off the devices. But
yeah,
kids are doing it because they're bored.
Yeah, that too.
So if they're bored, they're going to make up stuff, and that's when we get bored. So as adults, we need to provide the outlets to those things. I know there's some skate parks coming. Not that I get it, and I will never get on a skateboard. Not happening. But that's just me. But these kids need somewhere safe to go. And that's why, the children's youth organizations are so important. Mom and dad have to work, or there's only mom, a single parent mom. These kids are bored. So go volunteer. Go bring a game in. We are big on chalk. We have a 40-foot RV that we go out, and we will be out on Saturday at the city park. And I think it's the 15th, August 15th. And we take the bus out. We go to events. We were at the National Night Out, and we bring our chalk out if it's safe, obviously, to have kids bring. And I put the hopscotch out, and some kids are looking at it, and they're looking at me. And I'm like, Google it. You're on your phone anyways. Figure out what that thing is. That keeps them occupied for about 20, 30 minutes trying to figure out what this hopscotch thing is on the ground. Or we have a pledge, and then they take the pledge, and then they get stickers, and we give out the bracelets and things like that. So we have a 40-inch TV that we can roll out, and I can read stories, children's books, and things like that. So we're the Camel Caravan is our awareness piece. It's a diesel. It's loud. It's obnoxious. It's just like me. But if I can't get your attention with that, I'm not quite sure what my next step is. But yeah, we are pulling out the stops, and we just need to get people's attention. And that's why we appreciate being on podcast with you tonight.
And I appreciate you coming on, because this is important. I love that whole thing with the chalk, and how you just drive around and go, sometimes some kids don't, I feel like, some kids don't have cell phones. So sometimes some of them, depends on, their parents' financial situation. And me coming from living in Reading, I used to go to the YMCA as a kid. I used to love it there. It was something that I did after school. It was a safe place where I wasn't running the streets with my friends and getting into trouble and getting bullied in the street, And I think that that needs to, I think, like, I know someone, she was been on our podcast. She is doing Village. I know they're doing something on Mi Casa Su Casa. I I will have to get the information. I don't want to say something that's not correct, but I know that they've been trying to do a cafe for the like the middle schoolers and just the kids, so that they can have somewhere to go. Because I'm not accurate with my information, but I definitely have to look into that again.
Well, and we want to work with other nonprofits. We can't do it ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it myself. I'm not
Mhm.
capable of doing it. We have
Yeah.
to work together. The nonprofits have to all come together and work together. And I know what we do, and we don't do what anybody else does. What we do is a little bit unique because we have not only the strategic uh, programs, but we also have the support. We do I could go into the school and do an hour's, assembly and then leave.
Okay.
Nobody's going to remember that. But
No, they're not. They're not at all.
It doesn't work for adults. It's certainly, I say, they teach math every day. And until they teach this stuff every day, I'm not going to be quiet. This needs to be taught like any skill. And we provide that support after the initial programs. We have it's called the Camel Coalition, and you can join and you can take our program and you can become certified, but you have to renew it every year. It's not a once and done.
No, it's not.
Communities shift and they make changes, and we have to change with it. And instead of being reactionary, we want to be preventive, which is reacting every time something happens is never good, never been good, and never will be good. Until we get in front of this, we're going to continue to have the suicide rate we are, and we're going to continue to have the violence, the abuse, and everything else that comes with a society that is not sinking within itself.
Yeah. I definitely agree with what you were saying. Okay, me being as a parent, how can we approach these situations if my child is the bully or the one being bullied?
Well, start now. Don't wait for that to happen, because then we're all crazy, right? Then then you become the crazy mother, right, who isn't completing sentences, and we just can't get things done. So I really like the pre-planning of what happens, to run scenarios, to practice, to build those skills, to become very concise what you want. The worst thing is to go into a school, and I'm not blaming who this is happening to, but you have to be concise. Well, I want it to stop. Go in with an idea. Maybe Camel Project, should you talk to them? And then, all we need to do is start talking about this. And, we're not gathering mobs with, pitchforks and torches. I hope we don't need to get to that. I will do that. I probably have done that. No, maybe not. But we need to become unified, and it can't be that one crazy woman who has a kid who's being bullied in Why Missing. It has to be all the crazy mothers, and you're all crazy. I'm sorry, I love you, but if you all come together, like your uncommon women, if we come together for real, in order to be inclusive, we have to be inclusive. In order to be diverse, we have to be
together. Yes, I agree.
I'm a doer, as you can probably. I keep saying bulldozer. I never don't think I ever said that many times, but we have to come together, and we're all leaders. And we're all followers. And until we get rid of that, well, I have to lead this thing. Leader of the band. No, we need to all be in the band to make the band work. So hopefully, folks watching this will understand that we need to come together, and don't wait till it happens to you. Because if you have kids, it's going to happen. By ninth grade. And then the CDC puts out this other study that 55 to 75% of the incidents are never reported. Why? Because the kids don't think nothing's ever going to change. Why? Because things don't change. I mean,
it's true. It's true what you are saying. Why say something if nothing's going to be done?
Yeah, we
So,
taught them to not do that. And then the
yeah.
targets continue to be targets. The
Mhm.
bullies continue to be bullies. And we have no shift of culture. We have no personal credo set. Being a victim and blaming people is not a credo, not one that I will accept.
Yeah. Well, can you speak more on the Camel Project?
Sure. The Camel Project was started. I'm the founder in 2018. So right when we got rolling, COVID hit. So we were a little bit put behind, but yet we were able to develop more powerful programs. So I'm not blaming. I took that time to really work with professionals who are retired teachers to create these. This is not happening alone. Please don't think it's just me. I'm too old and grumpy to do all this work by myself. So I'm smart enough to know I put really smart people around me who can really get some of this stuff done. So we're a 501c3. We're located in the Community Foundation on Court Street. That's our office. And we work with all stakeholders within the community. And our goal is to end violence in our communities and to be that support system, that not to do the work, but to set that plan in motion, but then make them accountable. So if you get certified, let's say the police department gets certified as a bullying prevention specialist and their officers go through the program, they got to go get it renewed. It's not once and done. And if we come back in and you're not following our program, we will pull the certification from you.
Okay.
I'm not playing.
All right.
So yeah, so we're online. If you want to check us out, we're on Facebook. Thecamelproject.org is our website, and we're on Facebook. So check us out, contact us. We're here. We're advocates. We're here to help. And if you just need somebody to talk to, we offer our services. It's pay what you can if you can. So if you want to have a one-on-one with us, we can set that up, and you can donate to the Camel Project. There's no bill. You will never receive a bill from us. So if that's what you need, we're here for that as well.
Great. I love it. I love your passion for it on helping kids, and you're using your own experience and to just, stop this. And I can see the passion in you. I can see the bulldozer that you are. And it amazes me because, sometimes the things that we go through it just makes us, just to push and want to do and help others. So I really love this. Thank you so much for what you were doing for these kids.
Sure. People say, well, how do you come up with these ideas? It's like, this is everything I needed as a child and didn't have. But now I'm in a position that I can help kids now and adults now. So, and I really appreciate you listening to me being a full dozer. And I'm so proud I didn't swear, did I? I didn't swear.
It would have been okay, maybe one or two slips, but we're not perfect people, So, but thank you so much. Is there anything you would like to share that you didn't mention?
Actually, yeah, we have one of our major fundraisers is coming up. It's the Camel Trot. It's a 5K. We hold it out at the Reading Airport. It's going to be November 7th. We have just confirmed today that the Pennsylvania State Police helicopter will be there, as well as the Camel Caravan, and we encourage people to come out. We do have a walk. I don't run. I'm a race director. So if you want to come out and be an assistant race director, come on out. It's all going to be outside again. We're, with the COVID, we're going to be, go right through the airport out to the apron, and there's jets flying in and out. It's really kind of a cool event. And we are again going to have the Street Art Festival in May of 2022 at the Reading Muhlenberg Career and Technology. It's a chalk art festival. It's free. And we have some things. We're working with Burke's Arts to bring more art. Chalk art's about my level of art. I'm done. So any other art you want to bring in, bring it to us, and we'll incorporate it into that program. So, yeah, so that'll be May, and look for that as well. And then the Camel Caravan will be in Honeybrook on the 18th and out in Sinking Springs on the 25th of September. And we do pop-ups. So we'll start Facebook living as we drive out. And then we'll go out to the Berkshire Mall and we'll just set up a table and people will come and talk to us. And then they run us off. You're on private property. I'm like, what? No, stop. Okay, we'll go. But yeah, we do pop-ups around the county. We go up to Lebanon and Pottsville as well. And you never know when we're going to pop up. So watch for us on the Facebook Live.
I love it. I love everything that you're just talking about. And I love how you are determined to help the community. And that is very important. And like you said, like we as a community have to come together, and it's hard to do that when there are some people don't always agree with the other person. So it just, things are going to keep being unbalanced, like you said, if nothing starts happening. You know, I'd rather be a doer. You know, I love what me and Shanera do, and we are doers. We want to speak into the lives of women, men, young women, whoever wants to listen that comes on, you know, and view the comes on and just like view the platform, especially, you know, women like you that have a love for the community and do what you guys do. What you do is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for what you were doing. Also, I'm going to get your information so I can make sure I have it so when I put it up later. But we'll talk about that afterwards. Okay. And also, we have a question we ask all our guest speakers. What makes you uncommon?
What makes me uncommon? Well, I'm a bulldozer. Doesn't that qualify? I mean, I just think, you know, there's so much potential that everybody has. It's just not something that's commonly taught because it's hard and it takes time. So I think I'm uncommon because I'm a dyslexic. I see everything backwards. I never go, you know, the shortest way between A and B is a straight line. Who wants a straight line? That's all the good stuff is in here. So I naturally go and think totally different than anybody else. I'm not right or wrong. It's just different. And I love that. And the kids pick up on that right away. And I become a peer. And being able to connect to people, I call, you know, I love to be the weirdest one in the room because, you know, everybody else then gets weird. And, you know, it's just unleashing your natural potential.
Yes.
It's a very safe, non-judgmental environment. And it's amazing what I can see. And I think I push for that. And I think that makes me uncommon.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you said how you can just be weird and just don't care. Like you don't have to apologize for being who you are truly. And not everyone is authentic that way. And I love that, you know, while you're doing what you're doing, you're being authentic through it, you know, and that is amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I hope everyone, to our followers, for listening in. Hopefully, you know, you got to hear what Pam had to say about bullying prevention. You know, it is important as our kids are heading back to school at the end of the month. I'm looking forward to, you know, seeing what you guys are doing, what you're doing more in the future with these kids. And thank you for coming on again, Pam. And everyone, check out our apparel. If you have any topics, if you want to be a guest speaker, or if you have anyone that wants to be a guest speaker that wants to come on, you can go to www.uncommonwomen.net, or if you have any comments, topics, or anything that you want us to talk about, you can also reach us at Uncommon Women Podcast at gmail.com. Also, like our YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and stay uncommon. Bye.